October 14th, 1942. Bumpy Johnson sat in his office above Small's Paradise, studying 6 months of ledgers spread across his desk. Raymond Smooth Taylor was stealing from him. Not big amounts, nothing obvious, but Bumpy had noticed something over the past 18 weeks. Small discrepancies. $80 missing here, $120 there. Individually meaningless, but added together over 6 months, $2,200. In 1942 money, that was 3 years' salary for a working man. Not pocket change, but not retirement money either. Bumpy ran the numbers again. The pattern was clear, deliberate, careful. Smooth wasn't stealing recklessly. He was building something, a cushion, insurance, which meant Smooth was preparing for something bigger. Bumpy picked up the phone, called Illinois Gordon. "I need eyes on Smooth, everywhere he goes. Don't let him see you." 2 days later, Illinois reported back. "Boss, Jenkins followed Smooth to East Harlem, Moretti's Diner, 90 minutes with 2 Italians, left with an envelope." Bumpy was quiet for a long moment. Then he made a decision. "Call Smooth. Tell him to come to my office tomorrow, 8 p.m. Tell him I'm moving the main vault, all the cash from every policy bank in Harlem. Tell him it'll be at the warehouse on 145th Street for 1 night before we distribute it to the new locations. Tell him I need him there to verify the count." Illinois understood immediately. "You want him to tell the Italians." "I'm giving them exactly what they want," Bumpy said. "Me alone with all the money in one place. They'll think it's Christmas." What Smooth didn't know, what the Italians wouldn't know, was that the vault transfer was fiction. The money would never be there, but Bumpy would be. And when Raymond Smooth Taylor walked 5 Genovese hitmen into that empty warehouse expecting to become Harlem's new king, he'd find out why you never betray a man who taught you how to count. October 11th, 1942. Moretti's Diner, East Harlem. Raymond Smooth Taylor sat across from 2 men who could end his life with a phone call. Vincent Vinnie Scarpelli, 43, Genovese family enforcer. Anthony Little Tony Russo, 38, his partner. Both wore expensive suits that couldn't hide the shoulder holsters underneath. Vinnie slid an envelope across the table. $15,000 just for the meeting. When Bumpy's dead, there's more, much more. Raymond stared at it. His hands were sweating. What happens after? After. Vinnie smiled. "You run Harlem's numbers. We take East Harlem and the Bronx. You give us 20%. We provide protection, connections, expansion. Everybody wins." Little Tony leaned forward. "Think about it, Raymond. Right now, you're Bumpy's employee, making what, 50, 60 a week? Working yourself to death while he sits in his office getting rich. We're offering you a partnership, real power, real money, the kind of setup Bumpy will never give you." Raymond had been Bumpy Johnson's policy bank coordinator for 6 years, built the entire numbers system from scratch, knew every street corner, every collector, every dollar that flowed through Harlem's underground economy. He also knew every reason why he should say no, but he'd been carrying those reasons around now for 2 years, and they were getting heavier. 6 years earlier, Raymond was 27 years old. Working 2 jobs, dishwasher by day, cab driver by night, trying to keep his mother and younger sister alive. His father had been a Pullman porter, died in 1934 when a train derailed outside Pittsburgh. Company paid the family $200. That was it. Raymond watched his mother work herself to exhaustion cleaning white people's apartments. Watched his sister drop out of school at 14 to work in a laundry, and he hated it. Hated the powerlessness. Hated watching his family suffer while men like Dutch Schultz and Lucky Luciano controlled entire neighborhoods. Then one night in 1936, Raymond picked up a passenger outside Small's Paradise, Bumpy Johnson. They talked during the ride. Bumpy asked questions. Sharp questions, about numbers, about patterns, about how Raymond could remember every fare, every route, every dollar he made. "You've got a mathematical mind," Bumpy said. "That's rare." At the end of the ride, Bumpy handed Raymond a business card. "Come see me tomorrow. I've got work for someone who thinks like you." Raymond started the next week. $50 a week, more than he'd ever made. Within 6 months, his mother stopped cleaning apartments. His sister went back to school. Raymond built Bumpy's entire numbers operation from memory. No written records, everything in his head. Every runner, every location, every dollar. Bumpy trusted him, taught him, treated him like family, and for 4 years, Raymond was loyal. The problem started in 1940. Raymond's mother died. Cancer. By the time they caught it, it was too late. His sister Eleanor got married, moved to Baltimore with her husband, and Raymond was alone. Alone and starting to realize he'd spent 6 years building someone else's empire. He was 33 years old. No wife, no family, nothing of his own. Just a job, a good job, but still a job. He watched white gangsters downtown, men dumber than him, less capable, become partners in their organizations, get points on operations, build wealth. But Raymond stayed on salary. He never asked Bumpy for more, never demanded a percentage, because that wasn't how their relationship worked. Bumpy was the king, Raymond was the builder, and builders don't become kings. That thought aided him for 2 years. By 1942, he'd started skimming. Not out of greed, out of preparation, building a safety net, just in case he ever decided to leave. He never planned to betray Bumpy, not really. But when Vinnie Scarpelli approached him 6 weeks ago, casual, friendly, offering a drink, Raymond listened. And now, sitting in Moretti's diner, staring at $15,000, Raymond made his choice. He reached across the table, took the envelope. "There's a warehouse on 145th Street near the river," Raymond said quietly. "Bumpy uses it for big cash transfers when he consolidates territory money." "When's the next one?" Vinnie asked. "I don't know yet, but he'll tell me when it happens. I coordinate all his movements." "How much money are we talking?" "Could be 50, 60,000, everything from a week's collection across Harlem." Vinnie whistled low. "And you'll let us know when and where?" "Yes." Little Tony leaned back. "Here's how it works. You call us, give us the location. We handle Bumpy. After that, you meet us at Carlo's bar. We discuss next steps, transition, territories." Raymond nodded slowly. "And after that, Harlem's mine?" 75% yours, Vinnie corrected. "We take 25, but you run it. Your operation, your people. We're just partners." Partners. The word hung in the air. Raymond wanted to believe it. Wanted to believe he could actually become what he'd been building toward. But another part of him, the smart part, the part that had survived 6 years working for Bumpy Johnson, whispered something different. "They're lying. They'll use you and kill you." He pushed the doubt away. "When I call, how fast can you move?" 2 hours. We'll have 5 men ready. Best shooters in the family." Raymond stood up, pocketed the envelope. "I'll be in touch." He left Moretti's diner at 4:42 p.m. What he didn't see was Tommy Jenkins sitting 3 booths away, light-skinned enough to pass for white, reading a newspaper and drinking coffee. Tommy worked for Bumpy Johnson, and within 2 hours, Bumpy would know everything. That night, Raymond's apartment, 9:47 p.m. Raymond sat on his bed counting the money for the 3rd time. $100 bills, crisp, new, the kind of cash that changed lives. $15,000. He hid the envelope under a loose floorboard where he'd already hidden the $2,200 he'd skimmed over 6 months. $17,200 total, enough to disappear. Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, somewhere Bumpy's name didn't reach. Or enough to stay, to partner with the Italians, to take what he'd built and finally make it his own. Raymond lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing. Two paths, two futures. Path 1, call Vinny, set up Bumpy, partner with the Italians, run Harlem, become what he'd been working toward for 6 years. Path 2, take the money and run, disappear before this whole thing exploded, start over somewhere Bumpy would never find him. He'd been going back and forth for weeks. The smart choice was obvious, run. Bumpy Johnson wasn't a man you betrayed. Even if the Italians succeeded, even if Bumpy died, there were too many ways this could go wrong. But running meant giving up everything, meant admitting he'd never be more than Bumpy's employee, meant spending the rest of his life looking over his shoulder. Staying meant risk, huge risk, but also possibility. Raymond closed his eyes. He'd decide when the moment came. October 13th, 1942, Tuesday, 4:17 p.m. Illinois Gordon sat in Bumpy's office, watching his boss study ledgers with the intensity of a prosecutor reviewing evidence. The phone call from Tommy Jenkins had come Sunday evening, 2 hours after the Moretti's meeting. Tommy had reported every word, every gesture, every detail. Now Bumpy was confirming what he'd suspected for months. For 6 months, Bumpy said quietly, I've had you double counting every location, your numbers versus Smooth's numbers, every week. He slid 2 ledgers across the desk, side by side. Illinois looked. The discrepancies were small but consistent. 139th Street, Smooth reported $847. Illinois counted $927. Difference, $80. 145th Street, Smooth reported $1,203. Illinois counted $1,323. Difference, $120. 26 weeks of small gaps, added together, $2,200 missing. He's been skimming, Illinois said. He's been preparing, Bumpy corrected, building insurance. At first, I thought maybe he was just scared, getting cautious. But now, he tapped the report from Tommy. Now, he's sitting with Genovese enforcers taking $15,000. You want me to handle it? Bumpy shook his head slowly. No, I want to see how far he'll go. If he's just stealing and planning to run, that's one thing. But if he's actually trying to take my place... He didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. What do you need? Tomorrow night, I'm calling Smooth to my office. I'm going to tell him I'm moving the main vault, all the cash from every policy bank, one location, one night. See if he takes the bait. Illinois understood immediately. And if he tells the Italians, then we know exactly who Raymond Taylor is, and we handle it accordingly. Bumpy looked out the window at Harlem stretching below. 6 years of trust, 6 years of mentorship, 6 years of building something together, and it was about to end. You know what hurts most? Bumpy said quietly. I was going to make him a partner 6 months from now, was going to give him 10% of the entire operation. That's what I told him I was working toward. Illinois stayed silent. I taught him everything, Bumpy continued, pulled him out of poverty, gave his family security, and this is how he repays it. Some men can't be satisfied, boss. No, Bumpy agreed. Some men always want more, even when more means destroying everything they have. He turned back to the ledgers. Set it up. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Let's see if Raymond chooses loyalty or greed. October 15th, 1942, Thursday, 8 p.m., Bumpy's office. Raymond walked in wearing the suit he'd bought last week with Italian money. His palms were sweating, but he kept his expression neutral. Bumpy sat behind his desk, calm, reviewing paperwork. A glass of bourbon sat untouched beside him. Smooth, thanks for coming. Illinois said it was urgent. Sit down. Raymond sat, trying to look relaxed, but his mind was screaming. This was it, the moment of truth. For the past 4 days, he'd been going back and forth, run or stay, betray or stay loyal. He still hadn't decided. "I'm moving the main vault tomorrow night," Bumpy said without preamble, "consolidating cash from every policy bank before we redistribute next week." Raymond's pulse quickened. The main vault. That meant tens of thousands of dollars. This was it, the opportunity Vinny had been waiting for. Why move it? Police had been watching this building for 2 weeks. Same plainclothes detectives every night. I need somewhere off their radar, just for one night. That made sense. Raymond had noticed increased police presence too. Where? The warehouse on 145th, near the river. I need you there to verify the count before we move it. Raymond felt something twist in his gut. The warehouse, the exact location he'd told Vinny about. This felt too perfect, too convenient. Who else is coming? Just me and Illinois. Nobody else needs to know. We can't risk leaks. 3 men, tens of thousands in cash, isolated location. Raymond's mind raced. This is either the biggest opportunity of your life or the biggest trap. What time? Midnight. Get there at 11:30. Help me set up. I'll be there. Bumpy looked him in the eyes, held his gaze for a long moment. Raymond felt naked under that stare, like Bumpy could see right through him, could see every doubt, every betrayal, every lie. Then Bumpy smiled slightly, warm, genuine. 6 years, Smooth. You've been with me 6 years, built my whole system. Whatever happens tomorrow, I want you to know I appreciate everything you've done. You're family to me. The words hit Raymond like a fist to the stomach. Family. For just a second, one brief, terrible second, Raymond wanted to confess everything. Tell Bumpy about the Italians, the money, the plan, beg for forgiveness. But the moment passed. Because Raymond had already taken their money, already committed, and men like Vinny Scarpelli didn't accept refunds. If he backed out now, the Italians would kill him. If he went forward and failed, Bumpy would kill him. There was no safe choice anymore, only forward. He stood. "Thank you, Bumpy. That means a lot." Raymond left at 8:27 p.m. By 9:15 p.m., he was at a payphone on 125th Street, hands shaking, making the call that would seal his fate. "Yeah?" Vinny's voice. "It's me. Go ahead." Raymond took a breath, his last chance to back out, his last chance to choose differently. He thought about running, about taking the $17,200 and disappearing tonight, right now. But then he thought about 6 years of being second, 6 years of watching other men become partners while he stayed an employee, 6 years of building someone else's kingdom. He made his choice. Tomorrow night, midnight, warehouse on 145th Street near the Harlem River. Bumpy will be there with everything, all the cash from every policy bank, just him and Illinois Gordon. How much money? 50, 60,000, maybe more? Vinny whistled low. "And it's just 2 of them guarding it?" "That's what he said." "What about you?" "He wants me there at 11:30 to help set up." "Perfect. You be there when he tells you. Act normal. We arrive at midnight. When you hear us come in, hit the floor. We take care of Bumpy and Illinois. 30 seconds and it's over." Raymond's throat was dry. "How many men?" 5, including me and Tony. Best crew we got. Bumpy won't know what hit him. "Okay, midnight." "Smooth?" Vinny's voice changed, became warmer, almost friendly. "After tomorrow, you're set. Harlem's yours. We're partners, real partners. You'll never have to answer to anyone again." The line went dead. Raymond stood at the payphone, hands still on the receiver, staring at nothing. It was done. No turning back now. He'd made his choice. He walked home through dark October streets, trying not to think about Bumpy's words. "You're family to me." Raymond didn't sleep that night. October 16th, 1942, Friday, 2 p.m., the warehouse. Bumpy stood in the empty second-floor room, watching Willie Lee and Marcus Toll work. They were positioning generator-powered floodlights in each corner, military surplus equipment Illinois had purchased that morning. 4 lights, all aimed at the center of the room. Illinois tested the master switch near the stairwell. On your signal, I flip it. 4 corners light up simultaneously. 3 seconds of complete blindness. That's when you shoot, Bumpy said. Willie, you take whoever's closest to the door. Marcus, cover the east side. Illinois, back up. And Smooth? Willie Lee, massive and calm, nodded. Thompson's submachine gun rested against the crates beside him. Marcus Cole checked his shotgun. What about Smooth? Smooth watches, Bumpy said. His voice went cold. Nobody touches him. I want him to see everything, understand everything. Then he lives with it. Boss, he betrayed you. Which is exactly why he doesn't die easy. Bumpy's eyes were ice. Death is mercy. Death is escape. What I'm planning is worse than death. He turned to face his men fully. Listen carefully. The Italians walk in expecting to rob me and walk out rich. What they find is an empty room and a lesson. But Smooth needs to watch his whole plan collapse. Needs to watch 5 men die because of his choices. Needs to understand that betraying me doesn't just cost money or territory. It costs everything he ever was and everything he could have been. Illinois checked his watch. 9 hours, 45 minutes. Bumpy placed a single wooden chair in the center of the empty room. No money, no vault, no cash. Just empty space and waiting darkness. He thought about Raymond, about pulling him out of that cab 6 years ago, about teaching him the business, about planning to make him a partner, about how trust, once broken, could never be repaired. Positions, lights off. We wait. October 16th, 1942, 11:47 p.m. Raymond arrived at the warehouse 13 minutes early. His hands had been trembling all day. He'd changed his mind 17 times, almost called Vinny to cancel, almost ran to the train station. But he was here now. He pushed open the warehouse door, climbed the stairs to the second floor. Bumpy sat in a chair in the center of the room, relaxed, like he was waiting for a business meeting. Illinois stood near the stairwell, arms crossed. The room was empty, completely empty. No money, no cash, no vault, nothing. Raymond's stomach dropped. Where's the money? Coming, Bumpy said calmly. Truck's running late. Should be here by midnight. Raymond nodded, tried to look natural, tried to hide the panic rising in his chest. He checked his watch. 11:51. 9 minutes. In 9 minutes, 5 armed men would walk through that door, expecting to find Bumpy vulnerable and surrounded by cash. Instead, they'd find, what, an empty room? A setup? Oh God, he knows! Raymond's mind raced. Should he warn Bumpy? Should he run right now? Should he? At 11:58 p.m., they heard it. Car engines, 2 vehicles, doors opening and closing. Raymond's blood turned to ice. Bumpy stood slowly from his chair, turned to look directly at Raymond. And in that moment, Raymond knew. Bumpy had known all along. Expecting someone, Smooth? Raymond couldn't speak, couldn't move. His legs felt like water. Footsteps on the stairs, heavy, professional, multiple sets. 5 men entered the second-floor room. Vinny Scarpelli in the lead, gun already drawn. Little Tony behind him. 3 more soldiers spreading out, covering angles like professionals. They swept the room with their eyes, registered the empty space. No money, no vault, just Bumpy standing there. Illinois near the stairwell, Raymond frozen between them. Vinny stopped. His expression shifted from confidence to confusion. Where's the money? Bumpy's answer was quiet, ice cold. There is no money, Vinny. The words hit Raymond like a physical blow. His knees nearly buckled. What? Raymond whispered. There was never any money, Vinny. No vault, no transfer. Just a story I told Smooth to see what he'd do with it. Bumpy's eyes never left Raymond's face. And now I know. Vinny processed this fast. His gun swung toward Bumpy. Doesn't matter. You're here and you're dead. We'll settle for that. Bumpy smiled. Not warmth, not humor. Something ancient and deadly. You walked into my house. Your house? Vinny laughed. You're outnumbered 5-2. You got nothing. I've got something you don't. Yeah? What's that? The lights. Illinois flipped the switch. 4 generator-powered floodlights exploded to life simultaneously. Blinding white light from every corner, all aimed directly at the center where the 5 Italians stood. It was like staring into the sun. They threw up their hands, trying to shield their eyes, suddenly exposed and vulnerable in the killing zone. And from the darkness beyond the lights, 3 voices. Drop your weapons. Willie Lee stepped forward from behind the crates, Thompson's submachine gun aimed at Vinny's chest, 45 rounds in the drum magazine. Marcus Cole rose from behind the pillars on the east side, pump-action shotgun leveled. Illinois moved away from the stairwell, twin .45 automatics drawn and ready. 3 seconds of frozen silence. The Italians were professionals. They understood the situation immediately, understood they'd walked into a perfect kill box. Vinny's face twisted with rage. He'd been played, completely played. His eyes found Raymond. You set us up. No, Raymond stammered. I didn't know, I swear. Shut up, Bumpy said quietly. Raymond didn't set you up. He's just a fool who thought he could betray me and live. Then Vinny made his choice. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was rage. Maybe he knew you was dead either way. He swung his gun toward Willie Lee. The Thompson roared. 20 rounds in 3 seconds. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. Shell casings rang on concrete. Muzzle flash lit the room like lightning. Vinny Scarpelli's body jerked and spun, perforated, dead before he hit the ground. Little Tony spun toward the door, trying to escape. Marcus Cole's shotgun blast caught him in the spine. The impact threw him forward. He collapsed in a heap. The 3 remaining Italians tried to scatter. One raised his gun toward Illinois. Both .45s barked simultaneously. Double tap, center mass. The man dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Another turned to run back toward the stairwell. Willie Lee adjusted his aim. Controlled burst. 5 rounds. The man went down hard. The last Italian, young, maybe 25, newer to this life, dropped his weapon immediately, hands up, backing toward the wall. Don't! Please don't! I'll leave! I'll go back! I won't say anything! Marcus Cole's shotgun roared once more. Silence. 5 bodies on the warehouse floor, blood pooling on concrete, the smell of gunpowder thick and choking in the air. And Raymond Smooth Taylor stood in the exact spot he'd been standing when the lights came on, staring at the carnage, understanding with absolute clarity that he'd destroyed his entire life in one phone call. Bumpy walked slowly across the room toward Raymond. Raymond backed up until he hit the wall. Nowhere to run, no escape, no way out. Bumpy, please. 6 years, Smooth. Bumpy's voice was quiet, but filled with something that made Raymond's blood freeze. I gave you everything, pulled you out of poverty, gave your family security, taught you everything I know, treated you like a son. Raymond's voice cracked. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I didn't... You didn't what? Didn't mean to steal from me for 6 months? Didn't mean to take money from the Italians? Didn't mean to walk 5 men into my warehouse to murder me? I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. I kept changing my mind. You made your choice the second you took their money. Bumpy stepped closer. You know what hurts most? I was going to make you a partner. 6 months from now. Was going to give you 10% of everything. That's what I was working toward. Raymond's eyes widened. What? 10% of everything. The numbers, the policy banks, all of it. You would have been rich, secure, set for life. Bumpy's expression was stone. But you couldn't wait. You couldn't trust me. You couldn't see what was right in front of you. Tears started streaming down Raymond's face. I didn't know. You never said. Because I was building to it. Because I wanted to make sure you were ready. Because I thought you understood loyalty. Bumpy's voice rose for the first time. And instead you threw it all away for what? $15,000 and a promise from men who would have killed you the second they didn't need you? Raymond's legs gave out. He collapsed to his knees. Please don't kill me. Please, Bumpy, I'll do anything. I'll work for free for the rest of my life. You think I'm gonna kill you? Raymond looked up, desperate hope flickering in his eyes. Bumpy's expression was colder than Raymond had ever seen it. No, death is too easy. Death is mercy. Death is escape. You're gonna live with this every single day for the rest of your life. He turned to Illinois. Search him. Illinois grabbed Raymond, hauled him to his feet roughly, searched his jacket and pants. Found the envelope from Vinny. The 15,000. Illinois held it up. Bumpy took it. Mine now. No, please, that's all you what? That's your life savings? Your escape fund? Bumpy's voice was ice. You stole it from me. Now I'm taking it back. Illinois continued searching. Wallet, watch, cash from Raymond's pockets. $163, Illinois reported. Bumpy took it all. Everything. You stole $2,200 over 6 months, plus this $15,000. Total, $17,200. I'm taking every dollar. How am I supposed to? That's your problem. Bumpy stepped closer. But first, we need to make sure you never forget this lesson. Never forget what betrayal costs. Raymond's eyes went wide with terror. What are you going to? Get up. Willie Lee grabbed Raymond's collar, dragged him to his feet. The massive man was expressionless, just following orders. Hold out your right hand. No, please, no, Bumpy, don't. Willie Lee pressed the Thompson's barrel against Raymond's spine. Do it. Raymond extended his shaking right hand, trembling, tears streaming down his face. Bumpy grabbed his wrist, iron grip, unbreakable, strong as handcuffs. You counted my money with these fingers every day for 6 years. You knew every dollar that came through my operation. You touched my cash, organized my wealth, built my system. He grabbed Raymond's index finger. This is so you remember. Crack! The sound of bones snapping, sharp, wet, final. Raymond screamed, tried to pull away. Bumpy's grip was iron, unbreakable. One more. Please, no more. Please, God, no more. Bumpy grabbed the middle finger, bent it back slowly, deliberately. Crack. The second bone broke. Raymond's scream was animal, primal, pure agony. He collapsed again, cradling his hand, 2 fingers jutting at wrong angles, crooked, broken. The pain was blinding, all-consuming, radiating up his arm. Tears and snot running down his face, sobbing. Why? Why not just kill me? Please, just kill me. Bumpy looked down at him without mercy, without pity, just cold, absolute judgment. Because every time you count money for the rest of your life, every single day, you'll look at those crooked fingers and remember what betrayal costs. You'll remember you had everything and threw it away. You'll remember 5 men died because of your choices. And you'll remember that I gave you life when you deserved death. He turned to Illinois, Get him out of here. Where? Freight yards near the Hudson. Find him a train heading west. Put him on it. Illinois grabbed Raymond's collar, started dragging him toward the stairs. Bumpy, my hand! I need a doctor! Bumpy's back was already turned. You'll survive. Now get out of my city. If I ever see your face in New York again, if I even hear your name, you won't walk away next time. I'll kill you slow. Understood? Raymond stumbled down the stairs, Illinois half dragging him, leaving the warehouse filled with 5 dead Italians and the man who'd orchestrated their deaths. The last sound he heard was Willie Lee and Marcus Cole beginning to wrap bodies in canvas. By sunrise, all 5 would be in the Harlem River, and Raymond Smooth Taylor would be gone from New York forever. 3:47 a.m. Freight yards, Hudson River. Illinois drove Raymond through industrial wasteland, miles of train cars, loading docks, shipping containers, the smell of oil and rust. Raymond cradled his broken hand, wrapped in his bloody jacket. The pain was constant, screaming. Every heartbeat sent fire up his arm. Illinois stopped the car beside a long freight train being loaded. Manifest says Chicago, leaves in 45 minutes. I don't have a ticket. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. Then you better hide good in one of those boxcars. Illinois opened the car door. Get out. Raymond stumbled out, stood there in the darkness, broken, destroyed. Illinois looked at him one last time. For a moment, something like pity crossed his face. You had everything, Smooth, everything. Respect, position, trust, family. Bumpy was going to make you a partner. Did you hear him? 10% of everything. You would have been set for life. Raymond couldn't respond, could barely stand. And you threw it all away, Illinois continued quietly. For what? Italian money you'll never spend? A fantasy about running Harlem? You betrayed the one man who actually cared about you. Illinois, please. Bumpy let you live. That's more mercy than you deserve. Now disappear before he changes his mind. And Smooth? Illinois leaned closer. Those broken fingers? That's not your punishment. That's just a reminder. Your real punishment is living with what you did, every single day, forever. Illinois drove away. Raymond stood alone in the darkness, broken hand throbbing, watching the freight train being loaded. He found an empty boxcar, climbed in awkwardly with his good hand, sat in the darkness among crates and shadows. The train lurched forward at 4:31 a.m., and Raymond Smooth Taylor began his exile. By midday, the story was everywhere in Harlem. Bumpy Johnson set a trap. 5 Genovese men walked in, none walked out. And Bumpy's own coordinator, the man who tried to sell him, was sent west with nothing but broken fingers and his life. The message was crystal clear. You don't betray Bumpy Johnson, ever. Within a week, word reached Vito Genovese in Italy. 5 of his men dead, 0 results, a complete disaster. Frank Costello, operating in New York, sent representatives to Bumpy. The message? Mr. Costello had no knowledge of this operation. Vito acted alone. Consider Harlem permanently off limits to all Italian families. Mr. Costello's word. Bumpy accepted. The war that could have erupted never happened, because Bumpy had proven something crucial. He was smarter than violence. He was a strategist who turned betrayal into victory. The freight train made multiple stops. Raymond was discovered in Pittsburgh, thrown off by railroad security. He begged at a church, got $2.50, bought bread and water. His broken fingers had started swelling, turning purple. He couldn't straighten them, couldn't make a fist. He rode another freight train, then another, hiding in boxcars, stealing food from loading docks. It took 9 days to reach Detroit. By then, his fingers had started healing wrong. The bones had set crooked, stiff, permanently bent at wrong angles. He found work washing dishes at a diner, $18 a week. The owner felt sorry for him, didn't ask questions. Then sweeping factory floors, $22 a week. Eventually, an accounting job at a furniture company, $28 a week. The manager noticed Raymond could do math in his head, despite the crooked fingers. Raymond never told anyone about Harlem, never spoke Bumpy Johnson's name aloud, never mentioned New York. He lived quietly, carefully, always looking over his shoulder. Every day, when he counted inventory, when he calculated payroll, when he handled receipts, he looked at those two crooked fingers, and he remembered. Raymond Smooth Taylor died of a heart attack at age 53. His obituary in the Detroit Free Press, Raymond Taylor, accountant, survived by Sister Eleanor Williams of Baltimore. No mention of Harlem, no mention of the $17,200 he'd tried to steal, no mention of the warehouse where 5 men died and he learned what betrayal cost. No mention of the 10% he could have had if he'd just waited 6 more months. For 25 years, he'd lived in Detroit, quiet, careful, alone. He never married, never had children, never went back to New York. Not once. Eleanor came to Detroit for the funeral. She was the only one there. At the burial, she noticed his hands in the casket. 2 fingers on his right hand bent at wrong angles, crooked. She'd always wondered about that. He'd never explained. She never knew the real story. Nobody did. Raymond took it to his grave. If this story of brutal justice and devastating consequences hit different, subscribe right now. We're bringing you Bumpy Johnson stories history won't tell, where intelligence beat bullets, where loyalty meant everything, and where consequences lasted lifetimes. Like if those broken fingers were perfect justice. Comment, would you have let Raymond live?